Good morning, guys. Today's Monday, May 18th, and this is your writing lesson for today. We are going to review pronouns. We'll practice together, and then you guys will complete the pronouns worksheet on slide 4. Our goal for today is I can identify and use pronouns correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. All right, so a pronoun is a word such as he, she, or they that takes place of one or more nouns. Okay, so instead of saying the girl went to the store, the girl likes to eat the girl's lunch, you're replacing the noun girl with a pronoun. And some common pronouns are it, he, she, I, you, we, they, me, him, her, us, or them. So the key is understanding when to use the right pronoun. Obviously, depending on if it's a girl or a boy, a man or a woman, you use she or her versus him or he. They or we is when it's plural. Them is plural. Us is plural. I is referring to myself. So the key is just, like I said, understanding when to use the correct pronoun.
Hello, grammarians. We're going to start talking about pronouns today. And of course, that begins with the question, what are pronouns? Allow me to answer that question by way of a demonstration. Emma laughed so hard, milk came out of Emma's nose. Zach lifted the log. Zach found a worm under the log. So these sentences don't have pronouns, but what they do have is repeated nouns. We have Emma, and then we say Emma's again, and then we say Zach and the log, and then we say Zach and the log. But people are smart, right? We have relatively long attention spans. And so if we start off a sentence talking about Emma, and we're pretty sure that we're still talking about Emma, we don't need to say that name twice. We don't need to say Emma and then Emma again. So what a pronoun does is it allows you to take out the unnecessary noun when we're very certain we know what we're talking about. So you don't have to say Emma a million times. You can replace Emma with her. Same thing applies to the second two sentences. We don't have to keep on mentioning Zach and the log when we know what we're talking about. So the first sentence will still read Zach lifted the log, but then in the second sentence, we can replace the name Zach, since we already know who we're talking about, with the word he, and we can replace this little phrase, the log, with it, since we know we're talking about the log. Now words like her and he and it are all pronouns. So what are pronouns? They are words that stand in for other words. Now obviously her, he, and it are not the only pronouns in English, but for now I just want you to think about the idea that a pronoun is a word that stands in for another word. You can learn anything. David out.
All right, so that's a quick video on pronouns. We'll go back to our slideshow. So let's practice. It says Emily wanted to go to the park. So on the side here, it has an anchor chart that has the separation of what a plural versus a singular. So the choice is I, you, she, her, me, he, him, it. Let's replace the underlined word with one of those pronouns. When we have a noun that is plural, we have to use a plural pronoun, okay? So Emily wanted to go to the park. Well, Emily's a girl. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to think, all right, well, she refers to a girl. So she wanted to go to the park. Brian asked Scott for a pen. So I'm only replacing Scott. Scott's a boy. So Brian asked him for a pen. And you can decide, look for the pronoun that goes with the person, boy or girl, and you could try them. Brian asked he for a pen. Well, that doesn't really make sense. And then, so you try him. Brian asked him for a pen. Mom went with Tina and Ella. So now I have two people, not just one that's underlined. So it's a plural noun. And I have to think, Mom went with we, Mom went with they, Mom went with them. It should say Michael loved candy, said Michael. That doesn't sound like he's speaking correct English, but that's the sentence, okay? So we need to replace Michael, and Michael again is a boy, so I think that since he's talking about himself, because Michael loved candy, said Michael, maybe I'm thinking it should be me love candy, said Michael, instead of he, because he's talking about himself, right? So I'm going to go ahead and fix that one. That one was a tough one because it's not proper English, but it sounds like it might be a baby that's saying it. So, me love candy, said Michael. The couple went to the dance. Well, the couple, that's more than one person. So let's try it. We went to the dance. Well, it's not talking about me and someone else. They went to the dance. Okay. She went to the store for butter. So butter. Well, butter's a noun, but it doesn't live. So I think that would be an it. Jose loved to dance. Well, Jose's from our story. He loved to dance. So you're going to go ahead and you are going to type in the text box and you're going to match the sentence with one of the pronouns on the side here. And like I said, replace the underlined word, type it in the text box, and when you are done, you are going to make sure you turn this assignment in. Okay, that's it for today's writing lesson. If you have any questions, post them on the writing board. Have a great day, guys.